Warning. Censorship. Warning.
If there was a science behind this, I would have known. I've been in the government for 20 years. I worked in this bloody building here, right in front of you, for 15 years as an economist. And so the very idea of lockdown was atrocious from the very beginning. And I actually wrote about that well before the, Diana Andrews imposed our lockdowns in Victoria.
Now another government insider's broken ranks. The trusted advisor to Treasury sacrificed his job to warn about the long-term damage of the harsh restrictions.
So when did you leave government?
On the 9th of April, my boss here, the executive director of my team, and the head of the human resources, they said they want an urgent meeting. I work part-time, so that was after my hours. I said, okay, it doesn't matter, I'll have an urgent meeting. And they said, you need to remove your comments on social media where I've called this what's happening as a police state, which it was, 1984 and all that stuff. I mentioned that in very tangentially. I didn't criticize directly, but it was enough to cause these people a bit of scare that someone inside the government is calling this a police state, which it was. And so immediately after the interview, I resigned. I said I will not sell my soul for a little bloody penny.
So just before we get into the interview, I want to show you something that just arrived from rebelstore.com.au. It's exciting stuff. I've been waiting a couple days for it. Oh my God, look at this, check it out. Oh, let's try this on. Tell me that doesn't go with my shirt. rebelstore.com.au. You can look as good as me right now and support your favorite news site.
I've been advising the Treasury right through the beginning about this particular issue not being dealt in this manner. I've FOI'd my emails, and they're all publicly in public domain, that I explained that we should not be copying Wuhan and Italy because that's not the way this particular virus behaves. It is not affecting the young. It's affecting the elderly. So protect the elderly. And that's so straightforward. And I even wrote to Neil Ferguson, the mega crook, basically.
So had we introduced lockdown measures a week earlier, we would have reduced the final death toll by at least a half.
He's the one who created this massive imperial college model and caused hysteria across the world. And I wrote to him and said, hey, what about if we just shelter the elderly? He says cocoon the elderly. And he said that'll have a significant effect. He actually sent the numbers, I think it's 60% reduction. So why did he advocate a lockdown? So this is the problem here. We have never had lockdowns in the history of the world. Lockdowns have been studied extensively in the literature, and I've got them in my complaint to the ICC, and I've given so many examples. All these studies said lockdowns are dangerous and they will actually harm more than they help, which is what has happened invariably all over the world. Even today, the studies, I've just sent an article to the Australian, hope they publish it, but there's so much evidence now that the people who have died in the world as a result of lockdowns is greater than the number who died from COVID, okay? That's the basic information that's been collected by professors across the world. This is not new. And I'm saying I will not allow Victoria to become a China. I will not allow over my dead body, guys. And so I'm an economist here, fine, I'm working as a bureaucrat. But as a bureaucrat, I'm supposed to ensure that laws are being followed, and the laws require risk-based approaches. This is disproportionate. This is the reversal of risk. Basically, we are now terrorizing the people who have no risk in order to allegedly save those who are at risk. But the ones who are at risk, actually, the elderly, the way we treated the elderly in our state here, Victoria, you're aware of that, they were actually tossed around from corner to corner, and they actually had more deaths here because they were not looked after.
And our most vulnerable people are suffering. They're dying. They're dying alone.
So we killed people by doing disproportionate things, whereas the proportionate thing was to just focus on the elderly, really put all the resources, all possible resources, give them a massive house if necessary, individual house, treat them with respect, give an N95, make sure that they are well looked after, give them vitamin D, let them go out and have some sun. Okay, we just cooped them up together into rooms. We basically killed our elderly, and we also beat up our young. So, Avi, I'm above everything else a normal human being. I'm not an economist. I'm not a bureaucrat. I'm not an Australian citizen. I'm not an Indian citizen. I'm none of these. I'm a human being.
If you agree with Sanjeev and you think more people should hear it, make sure to like, comment and share. And of course, if you want to look as good as me right now, head over to rebelstore.com.au and get some of the epic new merch here in Australia.